You don't need more time. You need movement. The only way to feel ready is to start while you're still not. So why are we always waiting to feel ready in order to move? Why do we keep hunting for the perfect timing, perfect condition just to start the thing we say we want the most? We drown ourselves in learning. We ingest, but never digest. Hoping something will click, but a click never comes. The truth, that feeling of being ready never arrives. We lie to ourselves because we're scared, scared of the unknown, scared of not knowing where and how to start. So we say things like, once I finish this course, once I feel ready, then I'll begin. But it never comes. We stay stuck, same place, same information, same thoughts, same habits, thinking we're moving, but we are not. Because real learning requires output, not just input. Knowledge is formed in doing, not just in knowing. Here's the truth. It doesn't matter how much information you gather. You will never feel ready to start the things that matter. The first step will always feel shaky. You might slip, you might fall, but that's how you learn. That's how you grow. Take the first step before you feel ready, because once you're moving, readiness catches up. What once looked terrifying becomes normal until the next obstacle shows up. Then you face it up. You repeat the process, you lean in, and you move anyway. You think God abandoned you, but He's just letting the storm speak louder than your comfort. God doesn't wait for you to be perfect. He moves while you're still a mess. God will never call you when you're comfortable because comfort doesn't crave change. It feels safe, familiar, but that safety, it's a prison. It's a chain that keeps you tied to the same place. It convinces you that the world outside is dangerous. It builds a bubble around you, making you believe that that's your safe zone. But it's your death zone. In reality, outside is where your calling is waiting. I take that back. God does call you in comfort. You just stop listening. Why? Because your thoughts are consumed by the world, the pleasures, the numbness, the cycles, the little things that bring the pleasure and the pain. You know it hurts to stay there, yet the pleasure comfort gives is enough to justify the pain. So what does God do? He doesn't force you to change. He lets a storm in not to destroy you, but to make you desperate enough to choose Him. It feels like punishment, and in a way it is. The Lord disciplines those He loves. Hebrews 12:6. Discipline is love. Without it, we stay blind. Without it, we keep touching the fire. A father who never corrects doesn't love. He abandons. And that child, he keeps doing the wrong thing until the wrong thing starts to grow. First, it's taking something small, then robbing, then hurting, then killing. Sometimes his end is death. A death that could have been prevented. Who's at fault? Both are. The father for not stepping in, the child for not thinking better. The child has a mind. He knows right from wrong. But when no one teaches him, when no one corrects him, when no one leads him, he walks straight into destruction. Some fathers don't correct because they're incompetent, others because they never healed themselves. But no matter what, we all have a choice, left or right, life or death. And every choice has a cost. That's why correction is necessary. That's why discipline is low. Because without it, we don't learn. And without learning, there is no change. Sometimes God allows the pain to hit because it's the only time we finally listen, the only time we truly are available to hear Him. He doesn't wait for your readiness, He moves in your weakness and He invites you to move too, right there in the mess. God moves before you even move. That's how we must move, not waiting for perfection, but in the middle of the mess when we are not ready. That's how sanctification works. We don't clean ourselves and then obey. We obey in the process we are cleansed. That's faith, not what if, but even if. You don't need to know how, you just need to know who. Move. Clarity comes after obedience, not before. Waiting for the right moment is how most people miss their breakthrough. How many times have you looked back and thought, I should have taken that opportunity? But you didn't, because you were waiting for the right moment, the perfect time, the magic feeling of readiness. Did it ever came? It never does. The right moment is now. The right time is right now. It always has been. But we waste time waiting, living like we have a guarantee tomorrow, even though we don't know if we'll be here an hour from now. Yet we make excuses, acting like we control the calendar. We move through our day with confidence. We drive, we walk, we eat without checking for disasters, without perfect conditions. We just go without thinking. So, why don't we apply the same mindset to the things that actually matter? Starting a business, writing a book, walking into our calling. Why do we hesitate? Why don't we move without knowing all the steps? Why don't we have the same trust and confidence in ourselves? We already do it in every other part of our lives. So why do we freeze when it comes to the thing that God has placed in our hearts? Here's something I notice about people who don't believe in God. They say they don't have faith, that they trust only facts. But that's a contradiction. Because every day they live by faith. They leave the house assuming they'll come back. They don't say goodbye like it's their last day on earth. They move with confidence and call it logic. But it's still faith. They just don't know where they have placed it. For me, I have placed mine in Christ. I move forward even when I don't feel ready, even when I don't see the outcome, because I know He does. What I'm trying to say is this: you already live by faith, you already experience faith, you already move with faith. Whether or not you call it that, you already take the steps without knowing the full picture. The question isn't if you have faith, the question is where are you putting it? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. If you trust in yourself, that's vanity. Because you don't know the outcome. You never did. You're following someone who doesn't know the road, and that someone is you. You're blind, and you're following someone who's also blind. Instead, put your faith in the one who knows the end from the beginning. Move like he knows, because he does. The gym is a mirror. It exposes every excuse you still worship. You don't always feel ready to train. But movement creates momentum, and obedience builds discipline. Be honest. How many times have you truly been motivated to train without caffeine? It's rare, even for me. I love the gym, but I hate starting. Once I take the first step, once I do the first set, I start to enjoy the process. That's why I've been caffeine free for almost 3 years because I became dependent. If I didn't drink it, I felt weak, unmotivated. My workouts suffered. Caffeine can be helpful, but it's also deceptive. It becomes like a drug. You need it to feel ready. You wait for the tingling to hit, that signal, that buzz. But real life doesn't work like that. There is no ghost signal in life that tells you, baby, it's time to move. You won't feel a spark before obedience. You have to move anyway. Andrew Huberman said this: use caffeine if you want, but reset often. Cycle off, train without music, go without stimulation. Test yourself. One session a week, no pre, no playlist, no hype, just you, the weights, and your commitment. Every few months, take a week off, remind your body doesn't need external fire. You are the fire. Because training without signals is training for life. The gym is a mirror of life. It's a training ground. It teaches you to move when it's hard, to show up when there's no reward, to trust the process when you feel nothing. Sometimes you want to quit, sometimes results don't show, but you still go, you still push, you still grow. In time, you do see results, sometimes more than expected, sometimes less, but always something if you stay consistent. This isn't about motivation, it's about systems, it's about identity. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26:41. So you train your flesh, not when it feels strong, but when it doesn't want to move. That's discipline. Relying on feelings makes you a quitter. Relying on obedience makes you a warrior. You won't always feel ready to train, to eat clean, to fight the flesh. But you do it anyway, and you let the results speak themselves. Delayed obedience is still disobedience, and the cost is your calling. This is century number 9 in what I call the temple framework: daily alignment through spirit, mind, and body. Readiness is a feeling. Obedience is a decision. You don't break in one moment. You break when you keep waiting for the perfect conditions. Respect your rhythms. Respect your systems. Respect your callings. Move first. Clarity will catch up later. Obedience builds the temple. Thank you for watching. If you need help starting out, I created a 7 days, 7 challenges PDF file. It's free. Link in the description.